Hello, statistics students. Here's another video for 10.1, how to do a chi-square test for a two-way table in StatCrunch. So this problem should look familiar. It's one of your homework problems in 10.1. And I want to show you how to do this in StatCrunch. Yes, we could go ahead and go through and manually find the row, column, and grand totals, adding 209 to 97 with our calculator. And get 306. 92 and 43 is 135. 92 and 209 is 301. And 97 and 43 should be 140. 306 plus 135, 441. 301 plus 140 is 441. All right. So yeah, we could go ahead and do that by hand if we like. But see, now we're going to be asked other items from this. We're going to be asked for the expected counts and then the chi-square statistic. And those are pretty tedious to do by hand, even with four. At least the chi-square is pretty difficult to do with four of these. So I want to show you how to do this in StatCrunch. So I'll post this little tutorial in Canvas under the 10.1 videos. So this walks you through exactly how to do this. Enter your data summary as shown in the figure. Then go to Stat Tables Contingency with Summary. And so let's go ahead and start doing that in StatCrunch. So the beauty of the MyLab with StatCrunch is you'll see this link here, which is going to say open it in StatCrunch. And it just magically opens it up and puts the data, puts this data right there in for us. So everything has been labeled nicely for us. We've got the eat breakfast at least 3 times a week. Yes, no, that's column 1. This is for females and this is for males. So we follow the procedure here. It's already been put in for us. Number 1's done. So number 2, we go to Stat Tables Contingency with Summary. Stat Tables Contingency with Summary. And so it tells us that we need to select the columns that contain the summary counts, and then select the column that contains the row labels. So we're going to select the columns are females and males. So you have to, if you just try to click on one of them, sorry, if you try to click on 2 of them, it'll only change it. So you press Shift, and you can see that down there at the bottom. Select more than one with Shift plus click. Now the row labels, the row labels are the eat breakfast at least 3 times weekly. We hit compute. Sorry, we need to go back. I forgot to tell you one thing here. Most important part is display the expected count. And that's here. For display, select expected count. Don't worry about this as Fisher's exact test. We're not worrying about that here. So now when we hit compute, we're going to see the expected counts in there and the row and column totals. So let's double check that with what we've done here. 306, 135, I'm looking at those results of this on this table here, the 306, 135, the 301, 140. And so it gives you those numbers. So you wouldn't have to do this by hand. Now the expected counts, we want to put those in there. And then we also see our chi-square test statistic down here at 0.001005472. So that's going to ask us that in our homework here. The problem says then find the percentage of students overall who eat breakfast at least 3 times weekly. So there's 301 out of 441 students that eat breakfast at least 3 times a week. And that's to 1 decimal place, 68.3%. Find the expected number who eat breakfast at least 3 times weekly for each gender. And those are those numbers that we see in this table here. So the expected for the females is 208.86. And for the males is 92.14. And now for females, 97.14. And for males, 42.86. Expected counts are not too tough to do by hand. Remember, you take the row total times the column total and divide by the grand total. However, it's the chi-square test statistic that's kind of hard to do. You take the observed, 209, minus the expected, 208.86, square that number when you get it, and then divide by the expected value of 208.86. Doing that for each of the 4 of them and adding those results together, each one of them have a contribution to the chi-square test statistic. However, it's like magic for us over here in the StatCrunch. We see that chi-square is 0.00100. And so this asks us to round it to 2 decimal places as needed. So if we rounded that to 2 decimal places, it would just be 0. And that's it. So that will help you greatly when doing chi-square test statistics for this homework. You can do them in StatCrunch, and you don't have to worry about all that room for error. All right, this concludes the video on how to do a chi-square test for a 2-way table in StatCrunch.